Nuria saw only Parvana at first. She took the naan from her. "Is this all you bought? Where's the rice? Where's the tea? How are we supposed to manage with just this?" "Don't be too hard on her. She was chased out of the market before she could complete her shopping." Mrs. Weir stepped into the room and took off her burqa. "Mrs. Weir!" Nuria exclaimed. Relief washed over her face. Here was someone who could take charge, who could take some of the responsibility off her shoulders. Mrs. Weir placed the child she'd been carrying down on the mat beside Ali. The two toddlers eyed each other warily. Mrs. Weir was a tall woman. Her hair was white, but her body was strong. She had been a physical education teacher before the Taliban made her leave her job. "What in the world is going on here?" she asked. In a few quick strides she was in the bathroom, searching out the source of the stench. "Why aren't those diapers washed?" "We're out of water," Nuria explained. "We've been afraid to go out." "You're not afraid, are you, Parvana?" She didn't wait for her answer. "Fetch the bucket, girl. Do your bit for the team. Here we go." Mrs. Weir still talked like she was out on the hockey field, urging everyone to do their best. "Where's Fatana?" she asked, as Parvana fetched the water bucket. Nuria motioned to the figure on the tushak, buried under a blanket. Mother moaned and tried to huddle down even further. "She's sleeping," Nuria said. "How long has she been like this?" 4 days. "Where's your father?" "Arrested." "Ah, I see." She caught sight of Parvana holding the empty bucket. "Are you waiting for it to rain inside so your bucket will fill itself? Off you go!" Parvana went. She made 7 trips. Mrs. Weir met her outside the apartment at the top of the steps and took the first 2 full buckets from her, emptied them inside, and brought back the empty bucket. "We're getting your mother cleaned up, and she doesn't need another pair of eyes on her." After that, Parvana carried the water inside to the water tank as usual. Mrs. Weir had gotten Mother up and washed. Mother didn't seem to notice Parvana. She kept hauling water. Her arms were sore and the blisters on her feet started to bleed again, but she didn't think about that. She fetched water because her family needed it, because her father would have expected her to. Now that Mrs. Weir was there and her mother was up, things were going to get easier, and she would do her part. Out the door, down the steps, down the street to the tap, then back again, stopping now and then to rest and change carrying arms. After the 7th trip, Mrs. Weir stopped her. "You've filled the tank and the wash basin, and there's a full bucket to spare. That's enough for now." Parvana was dizzy from doing all that exercise with no food and nothing to drink. She wanted some water right away. "What are you doing?" Nuria asked as Parvana filled a cup from the tank. "You know it has to be boiled first." Unboiled water made you sick, but Parvana was so thirsty that she didn't care. She wanted to drink and raised the cup to her lips. Nuria snatched it from her hands. "You are the stupidest girl. All we need now is for you to get sick. How could anyone so stupid end up as my sister?" "That's no way to keep up team spirit," Mrs. Weir said. "Nuria, why don't you get the little ones washed for dinner? Use cold water. We'll let this first batch of boiled water be for drinking." Parvana went out into the larger room and sat down. Mother was sitting up. She had put on clean clothes. Her hair was brushed and tied back. She looked more like Mother, although she still seemed very tired. It felt like an eternity before Mrs. Weir handed Parvana a cup of plain boiled water. "Be careful. It is very hot." As soon as she could, she drank the water, got another cupful, and drank that too. Mrs. Weir and her granddaughter stayed the night. As Parvana drifted off to sleep, she heard her, Nuria, and Mother talking quietly together. Mrs. Weir told them about Parvana's brush with the Taliban. The last thing she heard before she fell asleep was Mrs. Weir saying, "I guess we'll have to think of something else." She asked. And the pain in her feet was very bad. It was easier to accept Nuria's offer and lean on her across the room to the washroom. Everybody leans on everybody in this family, Parvana said. Is that right? Nuria asked. And who do I lean on? That was such a Nuria-like comment that Parvana immediately felt a bit better. Nuria being grumpy meant things were getting back to normal. She felt better still after she'd washed her face and tidied her hair. There was cold rice and hot waiting when she had finished. Mother, would you like some breakfast? Nuria gently shook their mother. Mother moaned a little and shrugged Nuria away. Except for trips to the washroom and a couple of cups of tea, which Nuria kept in a thermos by the toshak, Mother spent the day lying down. She kept her face to the wall and didn't speak to any of them. Took her mother's arm and helped her to her feet. Slowly, with her mother leaning on her for support, they hobbled away from the prison.